Hi, I'm Nino Gonzalez, and welcome to another episode of Making Sense. Well, today we're going to talk about a little known secret here at the college with the Contract Opportunities Center, and we've got two guests from that department. We've got Paula Mendares, and thank you very much for agreeing to be here, and also Daniel Portillo.
Nice meeting you,
and
sir.
welcome to the show. And tell us about your center and what it does and what benefit it has to the community.
Okay. Well, our center is a nonprofit organization that work on a collaborative agreement with the Department of Defense Logistics Agency, federal government, and then through El Paso Community College through a matching grant that the federal government provides.
Okay.
And as a result of that, we're able to provide a small business training to small businesses. We provide an array of services charges. For example, we assess the ability of the business to do business with the government entities, because the government entities is an institution. They're more regulatory compliance and a little more stricter in all terms and ways. So we identify marketing opportunities for them, contracting, direct contract awards, subcontracting opportunities consistent with the business and products that they serve. Also, we research a lot of the military specifications in the solicitations that these federal government agencies put out.
Right.
So to basically break them down and explain it to them, many of us, our procurement specialists, have studied these regulations, and we have experience to be able to explain it to our customers in a common sense approach so they can understand it.
And sometimes as a small business tries to grow, one of the avenues of growth is through government contracting. But like you said, there's regulations, whether it's they're doing manufacturing, whether they're doing construction or providing a service, and there's a lot of different acts that fall, whether it's pay rates or even security, based on them and also the subcontractors. Correct?
Yes, that's very correct.
Can you elaborate a little bit on more? Is that what you do?
Yes. A lot of times we have contacts of these government agencies, and we know their policies and procedures, and so that's one of the things that a lot of our clients do not understand. Because when they want to do business with these institutions, their processes are very large and complicated, cumbersome. So what we do is we explain it to them in terms that they can understand, and in terms that they can solicit, they can provide an adequate proposal for the solicitation that the agency is requesting.
Wow. Do you come across a lot of small businesses that sort of hold back trying to do business with the government because of all of this? And I know that's your purpose, is to try and eliminate those hurdles and educate them on what is necessary.
Yes, definitely. It's very, you pointed a very good question, is because the immensity of the regulations and the complexity, it scares people. It scares a lot of our businesses. So what we try to tell them is that every big company started just like they do. So we try to calm them down, we try to explain to them. And that's why we have an array of different experts coming in, and as we do our conferences like the one we're going to have, and we're going to talk a little bit about it, where we bring these experts to explain it to them in common sense ways that they can understand. And then we have trainings that we give them, like proposal preparation, like we estimating for construction, estimating for services, and we bring OSHA to explain the safety on the workplace, and other experts that come and share their knowledge to them, and a very nominal fee that we charge for the, when we look at compared to other markets like in Chicago, Los Angeles, or Dallas and Fort Worth, we are basically giving it away.
Right. And when I was in public practice and had my accounting office, I would come across this, and even small clients that would get some sort of governmental contract, whether it's federal or at the local level, and they wouldn't even know like what a certified payroll was or things like that a lot of government entities require.
That is correct.
Or even that there was different wage rates based on the different acts that they fall under, whether they're providing a service or a construction or anything else.
And you're right, because a lot of these fields have their peculiarities.
Right.
You know, like the construction, you know, that the certified payrolls, as you mentioned, every company that wants to do business with these institutions, the insurance requirements.
Sure.
So the insurance requirements are tremendous, are huge. Companies now have to, for construction contracts, they have to pay bonding.
Right.
And so there's also, once they start doing contracting with the federal government, then audit. Then they're subject to audit after a certain value of money on the contract.
Well, even if you're a janitorial company providing services to the federal government or even state or local or county governments, those employees have to be bonded and they have to pass through certain maybe security checks or things like that, correct?
Yes, especially when you enter like a military installation like Fort Bliss.
And let's talk about bonding. You know, maybe a lot of our audience doesn't know what bonding is. Can you explain that?
Well, bonding is a form of surety, and you have a payment and performance bonds that are required, especially in construction contracts. The construction field is very risky. So not only does the workers have to be protected, but also the entity, the organization, they have to understand, they have to ensure that particular structure they're building is there's some security to it.
Sure.
So therefore, they require these contractors to do payment and performance bonds.
Okay.
Which then, you know, they're passed out as a cost to the institution, but nevertheless, it's how the institution ensures that the building is going to be built.
Right. Going back to the janitorial firm, you know, sometimes you see vehicles out there which says bonded and insured because they're going into locations, you know, whether it's an office building downtown, but they have access to alarm codes and everything, and that type of bonding, you know, protection from theft or misuse of property.
Misuse
correct?
of property. No, you're correct. You're correct. And so go ahead.
Yeah, you have your liability insurance, and you got to have that. Okay? And like it says, the bonding capabilities. Right. And the whole thing about that is you got to make sure that you have you're bonded, you're bondable. Okay?
Right.
A lot of times people want to go after the contracts, but they don't have enough history to get a bond. Okay? Right. So now you either got to team up with somebody, join up with somebody, figure out how they can get that bonding.
Yeah, and you know, as an instructor here at the college, and sometimes I would do the cooperative education course and help my students trying to obtain employment or internships. And in some of the applications, it would say, "Are you bondable? Have you been bonded?" And they had no idea what that meant. And so that's why I wanted to explain a little bit, because I think a lot of our audience doesn't know when they hear bond, you know, what does that mean? And we covered quite a few of those.
And there's a lot of bonding companies that will provide a basic bonding because a company is just started, so they don't have any performance history. Right. As the companies gain performance and they do it successfully, they complete their project successfully, they gain more value. In other words, the bonding company is willing to take more risk with them and increases their bonding capacity.
And so here we're talking about, you know, mostly about federal government contracts, but you also help with state, local, county, even with colleges, universities, school districts, correct?
Yes, and also including prime contractors.
Okay.
Prime contractors come here and they're looking for subcontractors. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times we do meet and greets with a prime contractor. We bring the specific subcontractors that they're looking for, and then it's kind of a perfect relationship. Match them with them, exactly. And those institutions, we participate with other institutions like Mr. Mendari said. We go and participate with other institutions such as the Small Business Administration, the UTEP, the Chambers of Commerce, the Greater Chamber of Commerce, the Hispanic Chamber, and the Small Business Development Center, and we all go together to these conferences and we present information to all. Or
even like
business community.
Where I had the honor of meeting you, which was at the hub of innovation, correct?
Exactly.
A good place because you've got a lot of up and coming emerging businesses that might want to do business with several governmental entities.
We're currently working with some biotech companies. Okay. And they got tremendous projects they're working on. And some of them are getting their patents, some of them already have their patents, and now they're going to go into obtaining the financial resources to be able to produce and market this to these different agencies.
Right. And are the requirements different, like let's say for the federal government than the state, city, county?
It's slightly different. As a matter of fact, I've seen many of the, for example, the other day I was reviewing a solicitation from TxDOT, Texas Department of Transportation, and it was almost reading the same as if I was reading a federal government solicitation.
Well,
so they borrow the information from the federal, and then they adjust it to the state.
But it could also be because a lot of these, trickle down funding from the federal government, so they require.
And that's what it is.
They require the same requirements as the federal government.
Exactly. And that's exactly why the requirements are very similar.
Right.
So I told them, if you understand the federal, the states are going to be much easier to understand. They are less complicated.
And how about colleges and universities? Well, they probably, some of them fall under the state and also school districts,
Well,
correct?
especially some of them get federal grants.
Right.
They get state grants. So they follow those procedures and processes as well.
But as Mr. Portillo says, we're here to provide assistance, whether it be federal, state, county, city, or school districts.
And that could really be, one of the deal makers for a small business, because maybe they might only be able to grow so much with the regular business and clientele, but maybe they need that extra step to take them in dealing business with any type of governmental agency.
Well, one of the problems that I've seen in many years here in El Paso, in this region, is a little bit of lack of sophistication and understanding these requirements. And I used to work for the federal government, and I was a contracting official, and I will see proposals that they failed to read the basic instructions that they will be stated in the solicitation. So one of the things we do is when we walk through a solicitation and explain what are the basic requirements that government agency is asking for, so that these businesses understand that it is a prerequisite to follow, to the point, to the letter, the instructions.
Wow, a great resource that we have here in El Paso, and also with association with El Paso Community College, because it not only helps the community, it helps small businesses, and it also helps the college, correct?
Oh, yes. The college gets a lot of indirect exposure and sometimes direct exposure, because when we do these events, the logo of the college goes as well in our literature, and we tell them we are part of the college.
We're part of the college.
So whenever, go ahead, Pablo.
And not only do we talk about what we do, but we also talk about what the college offers.
Right.
What they have offered to the community, what they have to offer out there for us. Not only this, but also what they provide.
And that's one of the things I like about, the college, is all these opportunities and collaborations that they have with many different programs, such as the Small Business Development Center, and now with you, that you've been in existence for quite a while, but it's a little known secret, and we want to get that message out there. So we'll come back and talk more about this amazing resource on the second half of Making Sense. Stay tuned. Welcome to the second half of Making Sense, and we're talking here with the Contract Opportunities Center here at the college, and about the wonderful resource you provide. And during the break, you were mentioning that a lot of the services are provided free of charge. If somebody comes in and they want to do business with the government, you'll help them, correct?
Correct. And we ask them to fill in a couple of applications, because it's a requirement for our grants. But it's basically that. They fill the applications, and then we start business.
So if I have a business and I come up across, and I'm looking for business and looking for contracts, and I come across something, let's say with the city of El Paso, and I've never provided services, and I'm sort of hesitant because of all the requirements, I can come in and talk to
Definitely.
you all, correct?
That's very correct. And you come into us, and we're gonna, like I said, dissect, look at the proposal for you, look at it, tell you what the requirements are.
Right.
Tell this is what you should have. Make sure you're aware of these items, and then we help you, and so that eventually they can go ahead and start filling in their proposal and see if they're qualified, see if they want to go ahead.
See if they want to do it.
Yes,
That's
tell them
correct.
exactly
because
what the
like
requirements are.
you were mentioning, it's sort of like a mouse going through a maze,
Yeah, it's
right?
a maze. Doing business with the government is a maze. So we're there to assist them get through
Right.
that maze, get them through it, so they don't have to.
It's like sort of what TxDOT tries to do to us here on the freeway, correct?
Correct. Very similar to that.
One good thing about the Contract Opportunity Center is, we're the bridge between the buyers
Right.
and the sellers. So we
And the
try to
sellers.
match them together,
Right.
okay, for what they need. So it's
So,
something to consider.
Yeah, so you've got a program coming up, Symposium, and it's your 14th annual, correct?
Yes, correct.
And so let's talk a little bit about that and seeing if there's some small business owners out there that are interested in attending this.
This is basically our 14th Procurement and Contracting Symposium. We usually have between 200 to 300 individuals and businesses that attend. Okay,
Right.
It's going to be held on May the 8th over at the Centennial Banquet Center at Fort Bliss.
Right.
Between 8 and 4 o'clock.
Okay.
And basically what you're going to have there is it's a opportunity for the businesses in the region to get together, okay, and start making relationships with the government and prime contractors that are there.
Right. Plus, you're also going to have seminars, right? You're going to have speakers. I see here, doing business with the Corps of Engineers, doing business with Holloman Air Force Base, with Fort Bliss, Department of Veterans Affairs. I mean, what great information.
Yeah, they can get there. They can get all this information. They're going to be provided, and then you're going to have all the training sessions also that
Right.
goes with it.
And so let's say I'm a small business owner that's coming in, never have dealt with this, and so getting on base, will that be a problem or
No,
anything like that? Are they
We're
going
going to have
work
ease.
with the
We're
people?
going to have ease of pass on there,
Okay.
basically from 6:30 to 8:30 in the morning.
Right.
You don't need a pass. You're just going to say you're going to attend the event,
Right,
right?
and probably show your
and
identification.
certification. And also between 11:30 and 12:30. Okay.
Okay.
You can also come in for the
Because
lunch.
that sort of sometimes keeps people away, that they're going into
Yes.
a military installation, and now with all the different requirements that there are, that might prevent them from going. That's why I wanted
And
to
that is
bring that
correct.
up.
Yes, and then I just caution them, because I used to work at different military installations, to a strict following of the rules
Right.
in terms of the posting signs and
Speed limit.
speed limit, because they're very strict.
Right.
In the military, they're very strict with that. But other than that, it's a great venue. The Centennial is a great venue.
Yeah, it's on Biggs Field, correct?
Yes,
Right.
we have several booths. We have several sponsorships. As a matter of fact, we still need a sponsor. So if there's any other companies over there that want to expose their company, we invite them to. There's still sponsorships available. We still have a few tables that are available, and they can go to our website and they can connect to this.
And there is
particular
a
event.
fee for attending, like you said, a very nominal fee of what,
Yes.
$35?
$35.
And it includes all these seminars, plus you also mentioned a continental breakfast and
they have
lunch.
and
Wow.
lunch. And the whole thing is in the networking. You're going to be able to network with, like I say, it's going to be between 50 and 75 booths. People who have booths, they can display their wares and what services they offer. You can have an opportunity to take your capability statement, and
Right.
that's what you want to do. It's not only the networking, attending the seminars that are being provided, the classes, and also have the workshops that are going to be very
Right.
beneficial. So take advantage of the opportunities that are there.
Yeah, and I also, as I see here the agenda, you've also got an introduction from somebody from the Small Business Development Center. So you were, which I've had many guests from, including Mr. Ferguson from that department, and some of the speakers that they've had. So you work in conjunction with them. For example, if I go there and I need help with my business, and they indicate that I want to do business with the government, then
They will send it to us,
Wow.
or
They'll
vice
refer you
versa.
to
That's
us, and
great.
vice versa. If you're not quite established, then we want
or
to
I
get
need a
you
business
established.
plan.
Then we get the same.
Exactly.
Then we
We
route
guide
you
you to
over
them,
the same
so-
hallway to them. So that's
Wow,
okay.
that's great.
We
And-
work in collaboration and cooperation.
And what I heard is that you're basically right across from each other, correct?
We're in
You're
the-
at the college.
We're in the same aisle. Same.
Right. And let's talk about that. Where are you located here at the college? Give us
We're 9050 Viscount, the ASC Building B.
Building B, right?
And
and
it's
B 545.
545 is our suite
Okay.
number.
And right across is a Small Business Development Center from your office, correct?
Well, it's actually in the same site.
Same area. Okay, wow. So that's great. You know, it's almost like a one-stop for small businesses, that they have this resources that they can go there. Let's talk about a little bit more about these sessions that you're going to be having. One of the ones that, you know, just popped out was cybersecurity requirements. Can you explain a little bit about that as far as dealing with governmental contracts?
Well, you know, because of this hacking events that has happened, right? The federal government is their nature is normally reactionary, so they have reacted very aggressively with a requirement now put on government contractors that will be dealing with government data. It doesn't have to be, because there's special procedures for classified data. But this is
data,
we're talking about data that is for official use only. So these contractors have to look at their internal processes and how they handle data that is not theirs. The data is used for the performance of the contract, but they have to protect it. So there are a numerous of security measures that the government is now requiring contractors to establish and implement in their policies.
Especially regarding, you know, of course, their network systems.
Oh yes, their network systems, their email systems, even their mobile devices.
Right, that's correct. And you know, and nowadays, anybody's subject to a hack. I mean, even the federal government and state governments have been hacked. I've even heard that that a lot of state, city governments have been hacked by ransomware, where they're holding a lot of the data hostage, and they're not even requiring a large amount of money. I think it's like 50,000.
That's a lot of money for if you're a small business, right?
Yeah, but you know, they're trying to keep it sort of down on the low to see if they'll pay and see if they'll release the computer information. But you know, we hear it all the time from big companies to governments to small businesses, data being hacked.
Yes, it's just another big requirement, and like anything else, we hope that there will be not a lot of people that don't want to come into the government because of all these requirements. But if we realistically look at it, any institutional contracting is going to have requirements because they receive money from the state, the federal, and the county. So they have to really take care of that because it's the public's money. Sure. And that's what we're doing, is safeguarding that.
And how about this OSHA update?
You know, OSHA basically can come and tell you about all the updates that are happening on the. So.
And what is OSHA for those of us who
Occupational
might not
Safety,
know?
and it's the Hazard Act, okay, basically. So it's time to do a lot with the construction, OSHA, right? So they come in and they're going to provide you with what the most current laws are, what changes are. They tell you about maybe some of the penalties that have changed, some of the fines that are happening, right? Okay. So some of the basics that you should know in your business. Right. So they want you to be aware of it. So as you go through your business, as you go through your work, you understand what the consequences are by having or not having those particular certifications.
And what is this mentor protege?
Okay, the mentor protege is a program that has been was established by the Small Business Administration. And it's basically when they take a more seasoned company to mentor our smaller company.
That's great.
And big brother, little brother.
Sort of like a shadow?
It's a shadow.
And also consulting.
Exactly. And a lot of them is, for example, let's talk about one of the programs on the SBA, which is a small disadvantaged business, known from the 8A because it comes from the Small Business Act, Section 8A. Right. And from there, what happens is that this company, who is within 2 years graduating from the 8A program, will mentor a brand new 8A company. Wow. And obviously, you know, one of the things, it's a mutual benefit because the 8A company can still be a subcontractor to now this small prime contractor. So and they share information, and they teach them how to propose, they teach them how to deal with government agencies. So there's a lot of mutual benefits that come under this program. And the SBA would like to get more companies into these programs because they're very successful mentoring programs that the SBA has.
And you even have some attorneys here that are talking about legal updates relevant to small business government contractors.
Yes, Matthew Schoonover, he's an excellent attorney in corporate law, and they're going to come and talk about teaming and joint ventures as well. Wow. We'll have 2 sessions. He's going to do teaming and joint ventures It's going to give the update, and also it's going to cover the mentor project program.
Wow, what a great value for $35, and for anybody, any small business who wants to get even just some knowledge about how to deal in business with any type of governmental agency.
So
'Cause I think once you deal with the federal government, I think the other ones might just fall into place because, as you mentioned, the requirements might be the same.
Yeah, and your understanding increases as you do that.
And not only just working with the federal government, but you want to come in here and an opportunity to look for subcontracting opportunities.
Right.
So there's going to be primes there. Who can you team up with to do some subcontracting?
So make sure you
might not go
whoever's
directly.
coming representing your company, or if it's a business owner, make sure you bring plenty
You
of
gotta bring
business
the
cards.
capability
Right,
statement.
and
You got to make them aware that you exist
Right.
and how you can be at assessments.
And questions, and bring questions, because especially when you're doing to teaming, what's involved in a team arrangement in a joint venture. Bring your questions, because here, Matthew, we're going to have him for a while or a little time. They can ask their questions, and he's very good at answering all of them. And if he says, if there was not enough time, please send me an email to my address, and I will answer you that.
And the thing that I like is that you have quite a bit of time for networking, which is great, because sometimes in a lot of these conferences, there's not that much time left for networking.
And that's important. That's what a lot of the businesses in the area go for, that particular reason. They want to go to network.
Well, let's just recap on this event, and we'll put it up on the screen as well. But it's $35 to attend. It's May the 8th.
Yes, sir.
That's next Tuesday, correct? From 8 to 4 at the Centennial at Biggs Field, correct?
Fort Bliss.
And thank you very much for informing us about what your program does and about this wonderful symposium, and that this resource, along with other resources here at the college, are available to the community and to small business owners. Let's get out there and get those federal, local, state, county, school district contracts, or even college contracts.
Yes, sir.
And thank you very much for
Thank you.
stopping
Thank
by.
you.
Thank you very much. We
And
really
we'll
appreciate it.
have you another show and talk more about hopefully successes that you can mention.
Yeah, we would
Yes.
glad
Okay,
to do
great.
that.
And we'll see you next time on another episode of Making Sense. Have a great day.